Well, creating the city's newest downtown park took a long time, but the people organizing the activities have wasted no time coming up with a plan to activate that space. Here to tell us about the historical and creative backdrop behind Lift Every Voice and Sing Park is Lloyd Washington, president of the Durkeeville Historical Society and the park's original and longtime champion. Welcome back, Lloyd.
Good morning. How are you?
Nice to see you.
All right.
We're also joined by artist Erin Kendrick. She's the designer of the park's historic markers and an extraordinary artist here in Jacksonville. Welcome, Erin. Welcome
Thank you.
back, I
Thank you
should
for having
say.
us.
Mariano Mendez. He's a third generation tailor and legacy business owner from LaVilla. Good morning, Mariano.
Good morning.
And Carla Mechele Jones. She's a facilitator with the Vibrant Places Collective and a familiar face in the world of local social media. Welcome.
Welcome. Well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, Lloyd Washington, it has been a slow road to get here, as we have discussed in the past. This park was dedicated back in 2015, and for a long, long time, it just remained a grass lot. And we are really at a different point now.
We're very. I'm glad to be at that point, to be honest with you, because 12 years ago when we started, it was interesting. The first thing we had to do was find out where the park was, where the place, the actual place. And with the help of former Councilman Warren Jones and Lisa Ransom, Lisa at that time was a city planner, and she was an avid fan of James Weldon Johnson. So she found the place. So she helped out a great deal. So it's been a learning and long coming process. And the thing that really got me started was I was standing in the Durkeeville Historical Society one day, and I looked up, and there's an exhibit for John Roseman Johnson. And I turned around, and Dr. Williams was there, my predecessor, and I said, "Who is this guy?" And that started my interest into learning who John Roseman was.
And for those who are still not familiar with James Weldon and his brother John Rosamond Johnson, remind us about their role in creating the Lift Every Voice and Sing anthem.
The anthem, James Weldon wrote the poem. The music, it was put to music by John Roseman. And it sat idle for a long time, but until it became a musical piece, that's when it really took off.
And Carla, the history of this place is interwoven with the story of James Weldon and John Rosamond Johnson because it's either located on or very close to where they lived. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's the former home site. Their father actually built the home. It was a two-story home on that block. They also had rental properties on that lot. And what I was fortunate to learn as well through Mr. Lloyd's urging is that Jay Roseman converted a living room in that home into a home studio to create that music. So we're fascinated to learn those things and then be a part of the actual build of the park.
And Erin, you helped design the historical markers at this park, but overall, kind of the design and the visioning of this park was a very thorough and well thought out process. Can you sort of describe the elements of the park and what the goal was, what y'all were trying to achieve in terms of inviting the community in and sharing the story of that place?
Well, we really wanted to galvanize a lot of things into one space. We wanted it to be a place that people could gather. We wanted it to be a place to remind people of the history there. We wanted it to be a place where people can learn about the history. I want you to make sure I give the correct name of the company who actually did the design of the park.
Designer Walter
Walter
Hood
Hood.
Design Studios.
And so we came into the fold when just dealing with the design of the markers and how the markers would be added into the space and really trying to make it clear to folks about all the different elements in the park, because a lot of people do assume that the shotgun house that's there would have been the Johnson brothers' home, and that's not correct. The home was actually in a different area of the park. So the markers help, tell that story explicitly of like why the shotgun house is there, the history of the shotgun house. The markers that are in the park tell the story of the Johnson family, tell the story of the song. So it just really offers anyone who comes through the park at any point in time a place to really kind of like reflect on who these people were, on what their contributions were, and really feel like they have a place that's really like their own.
And Mariano, this place, commemorates a history. She mentioned the shotgun home that is restored and on the site of the park.
Mhm.
There used to be a lot of those in LaVilla. There used to be a lot of other buildings in LaVilla. Much of that was destroyed in the name of urban renewal in the 90s. But your family really has this legacy claim to a business that began there. Your grandfather
Grandfather.
began it, a tailoring business, and you continue it to this day, although it has relocated.
Yes. Yeah, I'm on Atlantic Boulevard, but yeah, my grandfather, he was from Cuba, and he came over to the United States. And first, he was in New York. He was in Harlem, and so many of the people there in Harlem were actually from Jacksonville, and that was his connection to here. So he moved here into LaVilla. That was in 1927,
Mhm.
and opened up our tailor shop there, Mariano P. Mendez Cuban tailor in the Masonic Temple.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
which is still there.
Yes, and so our house, that's down there, it's on Monroe Street. It's the only home that's in existence, that's livable. Electricity, everything is in there. It's on Monroe Street, and it was designed by Cluto.
Okay,
So
Henry
yeah,
Clutho. So
yes,
the same person that designed the Masonic Temple and
yes,
and a number of other
yeah,
iconic buildings around
yes.
Jacksonville. Yeah. And so, how important is it for you and kind of just your family and the history that you have in La Villa to have this park there, sort of highlighting this period, and also two of the most famous residents of La Villa, the Johnson brothers?
Yeah, it's very important to keep the legacy of that area because it was totally destroyed with the urban renewal.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's important to have that there. And the neighborhood is now being revitalized. So,
And for a long time, as we said, this park was sort of designated. There was a plaque there, but there was nothing else for a number of years. It was just a grassy lot, sometimes even just being used for overflow parking at the Prime Osborne, but it wasn't really given any attention. And so I'm not sure who wants to take this question, but in terms of providing activities at the park, making sure that there's something to do, that there are people using that park, I'm just curious how important that is, how important that was in you know, the vision for creating the Lift Every Voice and Sing Park.
oh,
I'll
Lloyd?
let
well,
I'll let Mr. Lloyd start because he
yeah.
talks to the crowd about that a lot, how important it is to have people there enjoying the space.
The activation was one thing to build the park.
Hmm.
One thing we were we were glad to see that it was done. But then activation of a park is a whole different situation. You have for a long time, people didn't even know the park existed. So now we're activated. We have a lot of activities going on to it. We partnered with the Emerald Trail, and that helps bring people to the park. So we're glad that things are starting to move forward. The main thing is people know the park exists.
Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
so this is, as you said, it's along the kind of Emerald Trail at the Lee Street area of the Emerald Trail.
Mhm.
Um, and the cross streets downtown for it are like Adams Street
Adams
Yes.
and Forsyth.
and Forsyth. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if people haven't been, it's got a sculpture that kind of creates a raised lawn. But tell us a little bit about, and I do want to get to kind of specific programming maybe after the break, but in terms of generally the kinds of things that, are going to be appealing to people, overall, the messaging, overall, the kind of cultural stuff that you want to offer there.
Yes, well, that's where the Vibrant Places Collective comes in. And it's a fund that's budgeted to pay programmers to come out to the park. And so we were very intentional. Erin and myself worked on the historical markers at the park. Mr. Lloyd was part of a committee that was giving us the history to make sure it went into the markers. And Mariano I'd known for a very long time, just as a creative, and didn't realize the history of his family. So through the research, he had reached out and said, "Hey, you should do a story on my family." And then I reached back out to him and was like, "Hey, you need to join this committee." And then we formed a collective of 8 people who have some connection to the park, LaVilla, or the song. And so we all vote each month on what programming we want to see, the amount of dollars that goes towards those programmers. And it's been amazing. It's been a blessing. There's so many people that feel connected to the park because of the history already. They want to be involved. Some people have said it feels like a family reunion going there, and I think that's what we want. We want to revive what the history was, what the brothers would have envisioned through the song. We want to call that back to the space.
And it is interesting kind of reaching back through time, especially when young people like yourself are taking the lead on uncovering and preserving and celebrating this history. And, it's only kind of in recent years too that the Black national anthem has become kind of a national anthem, something that you hear at events that are not just exclusively things attended to or familiar, within the Black community.
Right. And it's it's pretty amazing to be in the part. We were just talking about it before, knowing that this was the home site of the Johnson brothers, and we have this sort of like slope park, and just to watch little Black boys kind of roll down the park, really kind of like brings it all together for me. Like that could have been them. So it's really just we've created a safe space, I think, for people to gather, for people to be themselves, and it's at all times it's going to be a park for everybody, but it does have that feeling of that family
Yeah.
reunion.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to 4 folks who are central in the planning and programming at Lift Every Voice and Sing Park in LaVilla, specifically Lloyd Washington, Erin Kendrick, Carla Michelle Jones, and Mariano Mendez. Glad to have you all back here with us. So one of the things that is involved in the programming here is not only making it accessible, but also trying to reinforce some kind of community goals, health and wellness. And I wonder if you could kind of talk about integrating that into what is also a lineup of entertainment and art and culture and history.
Yes, we kind of looked at what are some events that are naturally occurring in the community, and people who have their own branded events, and we wanted to give them a home at the park. We started with Everybody Yoga because we thought it'd be pretty easy, and also we wanted to offer accessible wellness experiences that are free to the community through the Vibrant Places Collective. So we started with Everybody Yoga. We have rotating instructors that offer different types of flow. And then we have
And when is that offered for people? Is it at a regular time every week?
yes, every Thursday from 6 to 7. It's all free. We have
PM.
walk and hit. Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You never know with yoga
Sunset.
people. They could be
Yes,
great.
exactly. But it's beautiful. And we have a mist that comes from the other side of the lifted line that's very nice too. So that's every Thursday from 6 to 7 every p.m. Everybody Yoga. We also have Walk and Hit, which is every last Saturday, and powered by Body Precepts. These are 2 sisters who used to do this at the landing. They bring out a huge crowd.
And hit is with a high intensity
Yes.
interval
Interval
training or
training,
something.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I actually did it last weekend,
Right.
and I'm a yoga girl, but I was surprised that I was able to do that. But they're very motivating. They start and end at the park, but they do a 3-mile walk to Friendship Fountain and back. We also have line dancing, which we all know is super popular right now, provided by Jazz Co. And they're the owners of a club that was very popular here in,
Yeah.
I believe, the 80s.
In Arlington.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so they teach those classes. That's every last Saturday as well. What am I forgetting? Sunday Fun Day Market is every 3rd Sunday. It's family friendly, more focused on the arts and foods you can eat. The play date is PlayStations, family friendly kids. That's when we use that hill. We have sack races. Bringing back that old school bubbles, just outside play.
Yeah.
And it's for social, emotional health as well.
Mariano, I wonder if you could talk about, how this is, how you consider this park in terms of, bringing back some of the vibrancy that some of those, lost buildings and kind of lost residents cost that community. Where is LaVilla right now in your mind in terms of, its state and its sense of community?
Yeah, it's definitely making a comeback. And the park, it has an energy to it. Just when I was a little kid, that's when I was always there, like every weekend with my family. And LaVilla had a energy to it. And it's there. If you come there to the park and you've experienced the different things, that's what it's like. It was always music, lots of people, different people. Um, like, okay, so the Salvation Army is there. It's always been there. So I've always been around the people that are there. But there used to be hotels and gas stations, churches, all those things were there. And it was a certain energy that is there that was nowhere else in the city. But with that part there, and now when we do the music events and everything, that energy is back. I feel that same energy I did when I was a kid.
Erin, do you think that the arts community is also kind of receiving that this place is there, that it's, because there are events that speak directly to, creative types like yourself?
Absolutely. I think like we've been hearing this term in the city a lot, like this idea of this renaissance that's happening here. The arts and culture community has always been really active and really vocal, I think, in Jacksonville. So I think the park just gives us sort of like another hub, another place to come together and celebrate what we do. But I think, overall, as we move through the city, you'll see the footprint of the arts and culture community in a lot of different ways. I think it'll be very interesting to see how, like, the park development and then some of the homes that are being developed over there are the beginning of how it'll change in that area. And there's lots more to come when it comes to like the LaVilla Heritage Trail, things like that. So I think that energy that we've kind of like found and made happen in that park will feed into the developments that happen around it. And I think it'll really become a premier space and more artists will use it. And I think it's also a great place for people to sort of like start, like we've had a lot of conversations with people about, hey, I have this idea for this
Mm.
thing. And, where it's like, bring it to us. Let us help you kind of
And how
develop
can
it.
people bring ideas to you if they've got them?
Go to our website, levsparkjacks.com, and you can submit your ideas. And every month, the first Thursday of the month, the collective meets and decides on those events.
All right. Well, Lloyd Washington, Erin Kendrick, Carla Michelle Jones, and Mariano Mendez, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.